Mr. Lynch, nice, oh, nice, whatever. Good morning, Mr. Simply, Mr. Simply, 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 no, stay not English. It's February and this video and this video which is 2026, così mi posso così a Middle Sky sono come Middle Sky c'è influenza chiara sai niente si gira video tutorial di scarpe si gira non so quando lì con l'andiri absmoriti in pula si genera lì con l'andiri attività non so se mi resti no insediato nell'area partita nel 20 finanziamenti finita si sono finiti questi quella che si vede questi casi si consiglia effettivamente se vogliamo aggiungere 20 aspetta che per campo fisso potete poi se spassare tra persone che ferro spassare fino a body secretary per campo fisso che aiuto now for the winter coming to be in December 31 in party on 16 on 20 p.m. In Italy ora sarà absolutamente il mio fino al body sono body cioè io suppose di misura attraverso 3 mesi così senza proposa perché ti cresce tu cioè io aspetto non per me la idea deve essere integration for the spring esame di Newton and sense for spring soft for esame di accettato for the winter for the auto once again the soft sostanza in generale for the servizio sa casi casi ti la segreta di grisa tris for me questa figura da assolutamente incomplete but no consider the period so winter it's a show I complete should complete but when it is absolutely incomplete I'm referring to refer to me particular perhaps for this period for the fact or the fact and feel less there people thanks to series of practice better to practice particular following this sense me so show will start for the cold and welcome the winter period winter report videos I always what the comment should explain what are these practices in this case I wrote the first part of this comment so if someone is in the next risk so if someone is interested in this case di risiori di first part questo come tu disaster scritto notare back Ingrid after finché Trump sono si servizi just for 59 Fahrenheit 15 Celsius nata l'importing questa atmosfera principi strifodio di sa no, for therapy because for analytic fact fil cool analytic fin questo no this depends on the think 90% fil cool o aveva ingerenza muy for me questo cool instia ma scatto sotto finge tu no perché se mi si just for it's good at tutto completo fa can be feeling così sa essere se da cortina sono se cortina se mi ripensate vabbè non li sto mai da qualsiasi risorse cortina ma trovare quando si cortina in genere se mi ripensate senza mi scusa non sta perfect at least suppose fa consultare mi ripeti sky it I am from little always to have just beautiful blue skies with sunshine but not too much obvious as I fact just before is mid sky is mid atmosphere e fa cosa considerando sulla stessa considerare con motori di consumo sensation things sports ma non sto sicuro at least in after obviously in after between between early after at the beginning I totally cloudy not but darker bleaker and also that my training for a few months back from late fin quarter close but as well as I'm trying to sense wizards well so see if clients che mi scrive today like yeah bad well processor contro well bad mi finché mettersi bad well So si sono iniziando quindi usato curtino su 4 sono 90 porzioni sono si just for this third curtino the only difference color of flower the most effective color of seco sia gold color curtino color of first one pink and the color of this third curtino not similar to the color of certain pink it's really similar enough you can see that is riduce si shot near me finco yes. Oh, if not, even better, surely better, mi sarà short the party as a first part of video which Perugia show to you the weather scatter sia già tanto mitico il Windows al mitico room, as raps non lo so dal mitico, il classico il mitico il Windows, il classico il mitico room. Batto veve, was in the room sopra il mitico, quindi non ti porti mi fa anche fa sono corti sta number one Martin sono also borsi da prima partito da Berti and only for was no it was the beautiful great cortino the beautiful painted in bench so people the pazzi fa fra cortino non lo things really mette si ritorna ma un season ma come secondo section to be point for the first comment perhaps first comment where one of them is read the comment section and if you and also and now I should do the same shot usually see it very well from this shot pratically the same shot I showed you just see for the routine in the first part of the video which I show to you the weather scatter sia in fact is or the classical mythical window il classico mythical room. Ora, from broader perspective, also from this price, pratically it's a short segment because you shot from an interview for the optimistic real number one, where I'm exactly sure more than 30 ore for the biggest curtain bit before the curtain, the beautiful printer benches, and perhaps also for the first the nostro reports carry curtain infantry exactly sure the carry curtain stealing over the major scena, and one year no time should change it, over was seeing this shot, so sorry this effect, but when recent technology should also this at all on this, because if measure. No, I see read a little speech sense of singing as for the press curtain bit before curtain before pentagon bench south singing for the first presentazione nostra the words of funzioni si chiede exactly se non singing se si read to the curtain yes so I met repeat expression singing for 5 times is a little speech sentence it is but also and always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot anticipansi mitico or legendary shot. Si ricade riconosciuto l'ottimismo festivo slax ottobre sportatori supporti il attivismo anzi le special center supporti ultimo favorit svale il favorit so ripeto once again a tools and always better visible for me it's sentiti in this shot si ponzi mitico leggenda shot. And finally from mythical keyboard MGX 640 PG 625 also indicates as me Gen shot. And since we from another short film the business back on January 2040 was started in which you can see the actual condition of the keyboard but the actual condition is December 2nd 2024. The main problem is the fact that there is light, no light, and there are little problems, but this is the main problem. So now we may try to fix it. Questo video in molto people lo faccio facendo il pezzo di indicatore sono pure me stesso non sono myself passo per schese and finally I hope you will get back ليت in general also nice for community late من for us and as many videos the last time that one fact network for some it's late in general for the people and all for America but not to for us for Mars so kind of normality a type of normality make breakfast ti sa se in winter period più pensato December January in particular and yes but ti sa no late but all important that is free for the regulation زمان تستوي فكر breakfast في تدرس تستوي جويت better than كمية في تدرس appartamenti di altre usi sen che tre regole siano semane stesso selection vedo close the Diego little so nice at symptom non morno lì se just for there just roll you obviously just good 13 19 means but l'importing show si am set in some way also dei forti non so a meglio and as we see sono most things are full absolutely. Da شنو سنس المصرية بت participant think more than 1 year yes io lo strocco di inglese che vector ex formeriso absolutely sta new reason at ma better see ex formeriso Friday and the it creation week of 9 Friday go yes it was the fifth reason nostro reports still with me 6 months and more than half where it was a beautiful red, black and white that different model in comparison with the previous from some aspects it remembered to me the first one was the reports also the second but all things that perhaps don't follow me for the reports think of body so the body which is in general in my other videos my other reports Yes, should be in time review, but the promise you to 1 day or 1 time so only done chip better basically the bench the things some speech and for certain shots obviously you know it's a joke we talk about mania basta no about more than 1 year yes also another from the biscuits and my favorite fact per main più combos più biscuits and yes nafficato una mezzo cortabs chocolate chip cookies or the cookies chip chocolate chips يعني في الاتمستيك ولا وصفات biscuits insulin in particular things that really would use real is first ones but milk shot intolerance in obviously but also quick chocolate focus that's fresh short fragment vita shot and if I think last 7-8 months così lo sto conosci di stand the sono i touch pezzi better lo uso more is quick to finish now this one thing is brutti once I think 237 38 30 so sì lo sto conosci di time di bio sono damci better so senza monto 3 pattern insert di tons in milk so very good news quindi se uso tecnico se breakfast questa bomba se si in particolare mega bomba e forse sì che se lesti video di gioco io so I talk about more than 1 year so because me think what's the time so that period and if in someone else can say toll ne cose breakfast fosse mega bomba e se continua se pazzia si fa che ne farlo si essere da cona di taranzi adesso mi sa sempre posizione perhaps also because I what face position with the bum general single piece of position because at this piece of position for me tra l'Italian bum dark chocolate ci pensi a due come ne mando io because they are really super bad. Adesso ma ora si può fare un traffico non tutto quello lì now I'll see